All right, everybody, let's do this thing. Hello, welcome back. Today, we're making Kasey Kahne's 2017 All-Star Race Chevrolet SS. So this is an interesting car because it was never produced in 1/24th scale. It was only produced in 1/64th scale. And I think part of that had to do with the fact that Monster Energy was the title sponsor of the series back in 2017. And they had a contract with Pepsi Company that owned Mountain Dew, or owns Mountain Dew. So I think that's why they never had this diecast officially produced in 1/24th scale. As you can see here, we have all laid out the decals that are going to be going on this car. We don't need the back name banner. We'll do that later off stream. Same thing with the front windshield glass. We don't need that. What else don't we need? This front splitter green that goes on the bottom of the car. We don't need that because I'll be doing that off stream. Same thing with this lower front grille. We're just going to add that later off stream. As you can see, I painted the grille, so I have to cut it up and do a few little things to it just to get it to fit nicely. And then the other thing we probably won't do is we probably won't add the American ethanol fuel inlet decal. Probably won't do that on stream because it's a little bit more involved. You gotta get the X-Acto knife out and cut around it and everything, so we'll save that for later. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully the audio is okay. Again, still trying to figure out all this streaming stuff. It's been working okay. If you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the chat. Leave them in the comments, but I hope everybody's doing well. This car has a little bit of order of operation. So this decal here that runs down the side, the door, gets overlapped by the hood decal. So this spike in the dew will overlap ever so slightly that green. So what we'll end up having to do is put this door on first, get that nice and done, and then we'll move kind of around the car. This is an Elite diecast. I decided to do it on an Elite body. So as you can see in the back here, we have tether holes. So when we put this thing back together, there are little tethers that go through the back of the roof flap. There's a little plate that goes behind here, a plastic plate. And the tethers will go up through there and connect to the back of the roof flaps. More realistic. And then, like we talked about on the stream last time, there's some extra tethers that go underneath the hood as well as underneath the rear deck lid. Oh, kind of hard to see. Shadows. Got to work on lighting. Eventually I'll get to that too, but for today, nothing too crazy. This is a relatively simple design car. I tried a little bit of a later stream. Had a few things going on during the evening, so I pushed it back a couple hours, but wanted to get to it tonight because I want to get this car done. So let's jump into it with the first decal on the side. Hopefully everybody is doing well out there. It's good to see you guys. Last stream was pretty fun getting Cody's car done. So here, we'll move this up. But yeah, he might be racing in Michigan. So I may be going to the Michigan race on Saturday. My buddy from California is flying in. I have some things that I got to figure out with that. So, hey, let's go. What's up, Will? Mr. Smoke. Not to out ya, but what's up? Yeah, so I may be going to Michigan on Saturday for the Truck Series race. Still up in the air. Cody hasn't officially announced if he's going or not, but we'll see. So that's potentially on the docket. So I do want to get his truck and other car completely done. I have to finish the boxes so I could take those up to him instead of shipping them, save myself a little bit of shipping. You know, USPS isn't exactly cheap these days, and you can never fully trust them. So we will see about that. But yeah, so again, order of operations. We'll put this door on first, then we'll jump to the hood, and then we'll probably jump around to the other side. And then everything else kind of just falls into place naturally. Everything, I'll probably put the side skirts on, or at least the bottom main side skirt decal on last, simply because I set the car down, and if it does wrap underneath a little bit, depending upon the size, I haven't really fit it up. Yeah, it might wrap around a little bit, so I don't want that to continually interfere and potentially peel it off. So the more you do these things, the more you learn little tips and tricks. Same thing with this back Mountain Dew decal with the SS logo. It's going to be kind of interesting because, as you can see, it is supposed to wrap into that contour. I hated these SS bodies, these Chevy bodies. They had this weird TV panel on the back, and it was always a pain in the butt to work on when I would work on Gordon cars. So I might cut it. I'm honestly looking at it now more in depth. I might just cut that do us away from there and contour it separately. So let's just do that while we're talking about it. We might as well. But yeah, so hopefully everybody's doing well. They're racing in Nashville this weekend. Last year Nashville was an absolute mess. Joey Logano won quite possibly the dumbest race that I've seen in a long time, with like 1 million restarts at the end of the race. So we'll see how this weekend goes. But yeah, this is an odd Thursday night stream. So we'll see if we get the numbers, if other people decide to join. Who knows? You never know what the algorithm's going to throw your way. But it's good to see you guys here anyway. It's always fun to interact with everybody and have people join. So yeah, let's start. So again, if you're new here or if this is your first time, this is a decal setting solution. So basically what it does is it just softens up the decals when applying them to the car. So it helps the decals contour into the shape of the car. As you can see, the Chevy SS bodies have a decent amount of contouring to them. That was one thing that they did that I liked with the Gen 6 bodies of the Cup cars, is they added a little bit of detail back into them, a little bit of contour, a little bit of shape. If you know anything about the COT, that was ran from 2007 all the way to 2012, it was a pretty blocky, pretty square body with not a lot of shape to it. They looked good. Now that I've been watching some of the old races back, they weren't as ugly as I remembered them to be. And the Diecast, I have a bunch of them, so I've obviously looked at the body styles plenty over the years, but they're really not as bad as I thought they were back then. I know it was only, 2012 was already 13 years ago, so it's been a while. But yeah, the body styles weren't as bad as I thought they were back then. So overall, I do like the Gen 6 bodies better from an aesthetic standpoint. As far as working on them and getting decals to contour to them, it's much more difficult, much more of a pain in the butt. But I will say, they did look better. Did they race better? Yeah, they kind of raced better. 2014 was about the best year in my mind for racing. Now, it wasn't just because Jeff Gordon ran really, really well that year. He had 4 wins. I was at the fall Michigan race when he won. So it wasn't just that being the reason, because Kevin Harvick won a lot. The Penske drivers won a lot, which I was not a fan of Penske. Even Junior won 4 times. So 2014 was just an overall solid year for racing. Multiple tracks, multiple grooves at each track. Going back and watching some of those races. High horsepower, relatively low downforce, which is always better from a fan standpoint. Maybe not from a driver standpoint, but yeah, the car of tomorrow, that was 2007. That was that blocky winged car with that front splitter. This car, the Gen 6, I guess, was a much improved version of that car of tomorrow because it took the safety aspects from the COT and improved upon it a little bit. No, I wasn't planning on that for him. This was actually potentially for a guy on the Lionel Forum. I could give it to Dad for Father's Day, but that was not the intention. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, while we're putting this decal on, we might as well drop the hood decal into the water back here so we can get that ready. So again, if you're new here, the decals that I work with, I did not personally make these ones. These ones were bought offline, and they're really good quality. I mean, granted, this body shape and this decal design aren't that difficult to work with. It was pretty straightforward, but you guys can see how nicely it laid down right on the side. So yeah, overall, I like these decals. Again, I didn't make this particular set, but some of the ones that I have made in the past, specifically the ones for Cody and for the video that you guys will see tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled for the Ryan Sieg. Let's see, Ryan Sieg, Kyle Sieg, and Ryan Vargas. Hey, that's kind of like a, well, no, it's not. They all just have the same first and last name. Anyway, like one of those old, what was that game show? Chain Link, or what was it? I know somebody out there will know. It was the Chain Reaction. Was it Chain Reaction where they had to like come up with words to like Smoky Mountain, Mountain Dew, Dew Drops, Drop, Tower, whatever, of Terror, for all you Disney fans out there. So anyway, getting off topic. But yeah, so this car is more than likely going to go to a guy in the forum because it's funny. If you're there long enough, you'll start to notice trends and patterns, and this guy has been asking for this car for years and years and years. And Lionel is just like, nope, we're not making it. Nope, we're not going back and making it. And so we'll see if he wants this one. I do produce only the best quality that I can. And if you're going to put your name on something and be picky about it, you better like it. And it better be good quality. So yeah, the Mountain Dew car. Okay, so a little bit of history about this car. Kasey Kahne drove it for Hendrick Motorsports in the 2017 All-Star race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, a track that I have been to, oh boy, how many times have I been to Charlotte? Probably 4 times, maybe more, 5 times, something like that. But yeah, he drove this car in the All-Star race, and to be honest, I don't even remember it because Gordon had retired at that point, so I wasn't really watching. And yeah, my interest in NASCAR had dwindled quite a bit. So yeah, I don't really remember much from that year, and I definitely don't remember this paint scheme. But I saw the decals were available. I had an Elite body and chassis diecast, kind of just sitting around waiting for something to be done with it. So I figured this would be the move. So yeah, I did look up the stats. He got eliminated from the race. So it was something, I don't really remember. I don't know the rules. Something they must have changed the rules for that year's race where driver gets eliminated if they're running at the back of the pack in one of the stages or segment ends, as they were called back then. So I kind of like that from the All-Star race. Like if you're gonna run in the back, you don't deserve to be you don't deserve to move on to the next round. So I kind of like that. I kind of wish they did that with the All-Star race still. The All-Star race has kind of lost a little bit of its luster. I still like it, but it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's because they're not racing at Charlotte anymore, or they don't do the pit crew challenge, or what it is. But it doesn't seem like it has that shine, that sparkle that it once had. Kind of just like NASCAR in general, but yeah, so he got eliminated from the race, which I think is cool. Again, it gives the drivers a little bit more incentive to try and not run in the back, which it's the All-Star race, so there's already that incentive to try and win it, to try and not run it in the back of the pack for most of the race. But I did like the format that they ran years and years ago. It was the segments. There were 5 segments, and the first 4, the winner of each of those would... No, I didn't. I took it off because I don't know why I took it off. I was doing something. But the winner of the first 4 segments would lock their spot into the first 4 positions for that final and 5th segment. And I kind of liked that because, again, it gave incentive to run up front, try to win each of those segments to get yourself a good starting spot for the final one. And I don't think they do that anymore. Well, I know they don't do that anymore. They just ran the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro, I think it was. And talk about gimmicks. Like, they had a promoter's caution that they could just throw at any point towards the end of the race for no good reason. Just to entertain. And so that's the thing with NASCAR. It's like, if your product was good enough on track, then you wouldn't have to have these entertainer cautions to spice the racing up. And unfortunately, that's what they did. They threw the caution, but it didn't really affect the race too much, I guess. Now, the racing was better. It's not saying much. Not saying much because it's still pretty lackluster. It's the short track package in the Gen 7 next gen era, so it's still not good, but it was better. So I guess there's hope that improvements will be made. I think part of the reason that the streams did well the last couple times is because we had Cody's name attached to them. It seems like they always do better when you have, like when I made Jason's cars, more people tuned in, which is fine. I get it. If you see something that you're familiar with or you're interested in, it makes sense to hop in and kind of check it out. But one of the interesting aspects about this car that I really like is that the Mountain Dew logo comes behind the headlight. I think that's pretty cool. You didn't really get a lot of that back then with the way that they wrapped and painted these cars. So I thought that was a pretty interesting little feature. And same thing, kind of like wraps around the hood, wraps around the fender. So yeah, one of the things I don't like about the Gen 7 car, it's just a nitpicky thing, is that they wrap them instead of painting them. I wish they would paint the cars. They looked better. Again, going back and watching some of the old races, just specifically the night races, under the lights, the cars just looked a heck of a lot better when they were wrapped. They were glossy, they were shiny. The wraps are kind of, I wouldn't call them matte, but they're like a semi-gloss, so they're not really glossy, but they're not really matte finish either. At least that's what it looks like on TV. And in person, the cars back in the day were beautiful, the way that they were painted up. Of course, Gordon's cars were always great looking because they had the day glow orange, reddish orangish color. But yeah, I always obviously had a soft spot for the Gordon cars. But yeah, the only thing that is annoying is this decal where it kind of wrinkles a little bit around the headlight. Not too big of a deal because the headlight will come up around it and kind of cover that spot in. So I'm not overly worried about it. But that's just part of the way that this body style is. But it'll look fine in the end. Here, we'll get the headlight just to show you guys how it starts here. You can kind of see it in the contour of the body. Yeah, you can see that right there. And as we place the headlight down, and we see how much it'll wrap around it and cover up that ugly wrinkle spot. So it'll look really good. I'm not worried about it. I've done enough of these cars to know if there's something that's going to be problematic or if something will get covered up by a later decal. So this one's not worrying me at all. The only thing that is sort of annoying about what we're doing now is I have to be very, very careful about accidentally poking the hood from the underside, and then it would pull these decals, because it's best to let the decals dry completely before trying to cut them, because once they dry out, they become a little bit thinner and less stringy. Yeah, ugly wrinkle spot. Hey, sometimes it happens. But like I said, it'll get covered up, so I'm not worried about it. It's kind of like makeup, right? Just cover that ugly spot up and go about your day. But yeah, so let me just throw this in the water while we're thinking about it. But I'm glad you guys could join. It's been a long day. Work was something. Couldn't get my models to mesh. The 3D printer was having problems, so I was just annoyed. So I was ready to come home. So it was nice to come home and relax for a little bit, and now get on to the stream with you guys and chat a little bit while working on a car. And again, no Bondo for these little things. We have put a lot of Bondo on the Camaro, which we got to work on at some point. But yeah, I was just ready to come home and work on this car. Again, it won't take very long. I would have been doing this anyway, so I figured I might as well go live, share it with you guys. It's a pretty fun thing, I guess. And again, it's a little bit of insight into kind of behind the scenes, what goes on, all the stuff that I do in the background, all the tedious work. Oh, one thing I probably won't do on stream, depending upon how long it takes, is I might not put the roof decal on just because of the roof flaps. Maybe. Ooh, that's interesting. So I don't know if you can see this, but these, I don't know what you call it, graphics come over the top of it ever so slightly. So I might have to, because this Mountain Dew's all the way towards the back of the roof. The rail car is kind of like that. I might just leave it. I got a picture pulled up on the other screen over there. Yeah, it's not too bad. I think I might just leave it. But yeah, so that's another thing I always got to do is size up the decals, make sure they're all proper sizes before actually applying them to the car. But as you guys can see, like, no decal, pretty much the whole side of the car is done. Very simple graphics package for this car. Just a lot of little tiny contingency and other small decals. But again, shouldn't take too long. I wasn't planning on going for more than an hour and a half, so hopefully we can get this car done by then. Give you guys a little late night entertainment. Clean edges. Clean edges. What does that mean? I don't know if that was meant to say edges or edgies. Perhaps it was an autocorrect. But yes, it does have some pretty clean, crisp, clean edges. And like I said before, it contours pretty nicely to the body. So we'll just use some of this decal setting solution to soften them up, to get them to sit in the proper places, fill in all the voids, and look as professional as we can. Because again, if it's something that I'm making in general, I mean for myself or for anybody else, I want it to look the best that it can. Because my name is going to be attached to it, my brand is going to be attached to it. Even though I don't really think of myself like that, I never really have. I've started to lately, just because with Cody's cars that I'm making for him, they're actually going to people that I know or people that I'm relatively in close proximity with. So I don't know, I've just recently started thinking that way a little bit more, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I've always taken a lot of pride in my work and what I do, but just recently I've started thinking more about it, trying to focus more on it. I don't know if you guys can notice, let's see, but the Gen 6 cars are not symmetrical. So this side is angled in and the passenger side is a little bit more flat. So the way that the decals contour and go onto the car is a little different from side to side. And that's actually how the real cars ran. So the whole point of that was to have better aerodynamics on the right side of the car, where the car would lean on the air in the corners. So having that flatter surface helped out with that. But yeah, it's really cool that they were able to replicate it in the diecast. I always like that kind of detail that gets added. I mean, it should be added. The point is to make it as close to the real thing as possible. So that's a detail that shouldn't be missed, but you never know. They do work pretty closely, or at least they did work pretty closely. I think they still do with the teams and manufacturers to get as much of the detail right as they possibly can. It's kind of crazy though how long it's taken just to get these few side decals on. It's not entirely surprising. They're pretty big, require a lot of effort, a lot of work just to get them to contour properly. Now see this side, the hood decal wrapped around and almost interacted with this side decal, whereas over here it was pretty far away except for this part. So just a cool paint scheme. I mean, this is one of those ones that I've kind of always wanted to make just in general, and given the opportunity now that the decals are available, it was cool to kind of take that chance and work on this thing. So do you guys all like Mountain Dew out there? I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you the last time I drank a Mountain Dew. It's been probably years. My dad likes Mountain Dew like it's going out of style, or at least he used to. He still has a few every now and then, but yeah, I haven't drank a Mountain Dew in a long, long time. I don't really like carbonated beverages to begin with, pop or soda, if you will. Never really been my thing. Doesn't really matter what kind. Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Sprite. Just, you're drinking it right now. There you go. Then this car is for your current Mountain Dew consumption. I doubt, though, the one that you're drinking is from 2017. I mean, it's possible. That's when this car ran on track. Highly doubt that it's from 2017, though. Again, it could be, but I don't think so. And then this was just the regular Mountain Dew. I mean, how many are there? Code Red. Let's see. Baja Blast is like the Taco Bell exclusive Mountain Dew, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. Do they have like a, I don't even know, LimeWire? No, LimeWire was that music sharing, like FrostWire. Might have been LimeWire. Definitely Baja Blast, Code Red. And then beyond that, I have no idea, other than like the regular Mountain Dew, which is just this green color. Alright, what should we do next? Probably the 8 posts. So we'll do that. Pitch Black. Oh yeah, I did hear about Pitch Black. That was relatively recent, wasn't it? Like Code Red's an old one, I'm pretty sure. Code Red's been around for a while. But I think Pitch Black was relatively new, wasn't it? I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I don't drink it, but there are people out there that do, and that would know the answer before I would. But yeah, so see that decal setting solution, it just helps the decals contour right around into this wheel well. Dark Knight came out. Ooh, Dark Knight. Like the first Dark Knight? That was... Or was it the Dark Knight Rises? I don't remember those, when those came out. Pretty sure Christopher Nolan made those. Same guy that made Inception, my favorite movie. In case there's trivia after. Diecast Driven's favorite movie is Inception. The first one. When did I feel like the first Dark Knight came out a long time ago. Like a relatively long time ago. Whoa, now I can see what I'm doing. I had OBS in studio mode and it was pretty small. Now I got it in single view mode. This streaming thing it's kind of fun. I don't know. Do you guys like it? Are you entertained? This isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it's something to have on in the background. That's what a lot of my streams are. I'll just have something on in the background while I'm working on something, while I'm working on these or something. So, yeah, that looks very, very nice. The decals lay down on this car beautifully. And I believe it's a gloss overcoat finish that I'll put on top of it. So, I'll get to that eventually. Are you not entertained? Yes, exactly. That's something I do have to get Cody's car or truck that we did last stream. I do have to get that thing cleared up. So my intentions are mid next week to put some clear coat on these things. And then I'll do a video, like a normal Friday video or something on this one when I get it completely done and cleared and put back together. But tomorrow's Friday video is a cool one. I spent a lot of time, really not a lot of time, but a decent amount of time editing it and making it pretty cool. So I hope you guys like it because it's 3 custom cars that I made for a real Xfinity Series team member. He's a crew member for one of the Ryan Sieg racing cars. And how did I meet him? He reached out to me, and I'll say all this in the video. So this, you guys are getting kind of like a sneak peek, a preview, if you will. But he reached out to me after I made Ryan Vargas, one of the drivers, I made him a car and sent it to him from Daytona of 2022. And that car had my name on it. So somewhere on it, and you guys will see tomorrow, I won't exactly zoom in on it, but you'll see what I mean. That car, I had the chance to put my name on a real race car. And so I said, and it was relatively cheap. It was like, I don't know, I think it was $20 or $30 or something to get, and it's really small. It's right on this back quarter panel on the other side. It's not like it's not like my name is on the hood. That would have been a lot of money. Don't have that kind of money. If the channel ever gets big enough and I could put Diecast driven on the hood of a car, that would be cool. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but you never know. You never say never. Somebody might come into the stream one day and drop like a $500 super chat and be like, put your name on the car. But until that day, it will not happen. However, my name was, it was like 500 people, or I think it was like 250 on this side and 250 on this side. And my name is on this side. And it was pretty small, but that car was never made. Not because Ryan Vargas isn't a driver that isn't popular. I mean, he's pretty popular through the unconventional, quote unquote, side of NASCAR, like the online community. He's pretty involved in that, and sim racing and different things of that nature. So it's a name that's familiar, especially to the fan base. But he's just not a super popular driver. So, you know, it's not something typically that Lionel's going to make if they know they're not going to sell a lot of them. So they didn't make that car, and I wanted it because my name was on it. So I reached out to the guy that made me decals back then, and he still does if I need one. A set made every now and then, but I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, I got a cool project. My name was on a NASCAR, and I need the decals for it because I want to make it. So, long story short, I get the car done. I make two of them, one for myself and one for the driver, Ryan, and I send it to him. What did I message him on? I must have messaged him on, I think I emailed him. I think that's what it was. Sent him an email. I was like, hey, would you be interested in your Daytona car? Because it was also his best ever career finish. And he's like, oh, heck yeah, that'd be cool. Send it to the race shop or whatever. So I sent it to the race shop, bringing this thing full circle. He gets the car, and he's friends with one of the pit crew members that's on Ryan Sieg's team, a different Xfinity Series team. And that night, actually, the pit crew member that he was friends with was on Ryan Vargas's team. So he has since moved on to Ryan Sieg's team, but at that point in time, he was on Ryan Vargas's number 6 team, and he reached out to me. I think he emailed me, and he was like, hey, every time I go into Ryan's office, I see this diecast, and I really want it. He's like, would you be willing to make me one? I'm like, sure. So, again, long story short, I make him the diecast. He loves it. He wants a couple more, and so that's what tomorrow's video will talk about. So it's the other 2 cars that I made him, plus that Ryan Vargas number 6 car that has my name on it. You guys can pause the video and see if you can see it. I added the PDFs to the video. It's still kind of small and kind of hard to see my name, but yeah, I added that, so I think you can, like, if you're on YouTube mobile, you can zoom in and see them. Should be able to. But I since have made that pit crew member a couple more cars that you'll see tomorrow, and the significance of them, the 28 car was his, so the 6 car for the Ryan Vargas was his first career top 5 as a crew member on any race team in the top 3 series, which was really cool. And then the that looks nice, by the way, just running up the A post. The 28 car was what was the 28 car? It was his first. It was the first career top 10 for that particular team. He was with Kyle Sieg for that team, that race at Talladega in 2024. They finished 10th. And then the final car was from Phoenix from this year, 2025. They crashed their primary car in the garage. So typically that doesn't happen. There's a lip as you go drive up into the garage from the concrete that's poured. Similar to this, there's just like a little step down. So when they were pushing the car and it must have had low tire pressure or something, and the nose of the car hit the lip of the garage and just crinkled in the nose. So they had to go to a backup car. And that backup car, they didn't have enough time to put the full wrap and all the decals on it. So it's just like an all black car with a few decals on it, like the main sponsors on the sides, the numbers. So they did a really good job of getting it track ready in, I think they only had like 2 hours or something like that. They didn't have a lot of time. And in that process of getting the car ready, pulling the backup out, rewrapping it or adding decals, whatever to it, they managed to finish 5th. So it was a really, really hard fought day. And he really wanted that car. He's like, I want this car too. I'm like, all right, we could do it. We'll make it happen. So I ended up making that for him too. And yeah, it was cool. It was one of the easier cars that I've ever made. It wasn't very involved from a decal standpoint, but I made all the decals for that one in my program. So that was kind of cool. Same thing with the 28 car. Like I was able to make all the cars or the decals for that car. So it's really cool when I get to make the decals myself and then do this whole process, transfer them onto the car. So I can really get a step-by-step sequence of designing the decals, sending them out to get printed, receiving them in, cutting them out, putting them on the car, and turning nothing into something. So yeah, it's a fun little hobby. Keeps me busy, that's for sure. Keeps me out of trouble amongst all the other things I'm constantly doing. But I like it. It's led me to some pretty neat people throughout the years. A lot of cool people, whether it was on the forum or just again talking to Cody, the one driver, or the pit crew member for Ryan Sieg's team, or Ryan Vargas, the driver that raced the 6 car. Like it's cool to be able to interact with people inside the industry, because I'm never going into the industry. First thing is I live too far away. I mean, I guess I could work at ThorSport, but I don't know. They travel a lot. It's a very intensive situation. They got to be pretty much on the road. Well, it depends what series you're in, but over half of the weekends of the year, they're on the road at the track. So it's the longest season in professional sports. NASCAR is. They go from February to November. So they start, and it was funny because they used to do Daytona testing in January. They would have what they called preseason thunder. And they would go up to Daytona, they would go down to Daytona, I guess. And I think it was for just 1 week. I don't think it was longer than that. They would run tests. They would do tire tests. They would do different aero package tests. And so really, I mean, that's more time away from home, if you think about it. So yeah, NASCAR's got an insane schedule, and I don't know, that's too much for me. Too much for me in my old age. Plus, we got other responsibilities now these days. But it's fun to be somewhat around the industry. So something interesting about this decal is, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but see how it kind of sits on the flat of the door panel. Probably just gonna take the X-Acto knife and clean that up once it dries off stream. I'll get to it. Like I said, I got a few other things that this car is going to require that I'll clean up off stream. But it's coming together really nicely. I mean, I don't know why I waited so long to work on this car. Now this part is interesting. Might have to put, so see, I might have to get the window out for this one. Pop the window in. Let's see. Might have to call an audible. Everybody just hold on. 1 second. Alright. We're back. I always keep everything so far out of reach that it's just a couple feet away from me. So we're gonna have to break out the passenger side window that goes in this car, because that decal, it's gonna be on the window. And at Charlotte they did run a passenger window. Did this car not come with one? It had to have, no? It didn't? Huh. Well, clearly I don't remember taking this car apart. Fascinating. Okay, so this car didn't come with that. Let's look and see if I have any extra ones. If I do, this will be kind of surprising. Will this one fit? Is this what we're looking for? Oh, no way. Huh. So I don't throw anything away. So this car, this diecast that I purchased, apparently didn't come with, and I don't remember taking it apart. I know it's happening off screen at this moment. Yeah, that'll have to do. All right, cool. So, yeah, this window didn't come with this car. And apparently I saved some from a long time ago. Cool. And it actually ran like that on track. So there was a passenger side window on the car for the real race. So we'll take that into consideration when applying this decal. Because it doesn't perfectly contour to just, let's put some more water on that, just the B post. It kind of slides over the B post a little bit and onto the window. So let's just do that, and then this is something I will have to cut later. Again, now I'll have to be careful with how I pick up the car and how I hold the car, because this decal is half on the window, half on the B post. As you can see there, see that little ridge in the decal. So, just some of the goofball challenges that I have to work with and fight through when working on these cars that I may or may not understand when I first start working on them. But it's pretty fortunate that I had that window, that extra window just kind of laying around. These little things are kind of funny. These, I don't even know what you call them, these like side vents. It was just a design feature on the Chevy SS. And so it just goes right on the door. There's a little molding section that it goes into. I've never actually seen a Chevy SS in person, so I don't even know if this is... I would assume it's a plastic piece. On these cars, it's just a decal. Like it's, you know, there's nothing special. Whoops. Nothing too special about them. Other than the fact that they slightly changed year to year. The color and shape of them, well, not really the shape, but the color of them slightly changed, so you can kind of tell if you're really keen eye what car is a 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think, actually, yeah, 17 was the last year that they were in the Camaro. 2018 is when they went to the, 17 was the last year they were in the SS. 2018 they moved on to the Camaro. This year, 2025, it's interesting because they run the Camaro body, but it just says Chevrolet on it because Chevrolet in their infinite wisdom is deciding that they're stopping production on the Camaro. I don't know, for whatever reason. They want to go green or something. So they're like, nah, we're just not going to make the Camaro anymore. Which they've done that a couple times in the past, so I would expect them to come back to making it at some point. But yeah, so 2017 was the last year of the Chevy SS. I'm trying to think of the guy's name that died that had this special decal on it. I don't remember what his name was. Because Brian Clausen was the one that died in 2015. I remember Jeff Gordon had a special tribute decal on his car for Brian Clausen. I don't remember who this decal was for. I think it was a dirt driver. Because it couldn't have been... Scott Bloomquist, because or not, maybe that was later when he passed away. I don't remember. Like I said, again, 2017, I wasn't really paying attention to the series. Wasn't really paying too much attention to the racing world. Let's see, 2017. Yeah, I was in the middle of school. I was in the middle of college, so I had studies that I needed to focus on. I had information that I needed to retain for exams, not racing. Plus, again, Gordon retired, so I wasn't paying attention. But I hope you guys are all doing well out there, still having fun, still awake. I've seen the number kind of fluctuate. A couple of people have popped in and popped out. That's what happens with these streaming things. Someone will pop in, see what they want to see, and then hop out. It is what it is. And again, like I've said multiple times before, I'm going to be doing this anyway, so might as well just share it with everybody. Have you guys ever seen Toy Story? I feel like the guy in Toy Story. I think his name's Jerry. When he's fixing Woody, like Woody's arm rips off, and so they bring him in, and he's fixing him up, sewing his arm back on, putting some gloss coat over his eyeballs, painting the bottom of his boot, airbrushing the back of his head. Like I feel like that guy when I work on these cars. If you guys have seen Toy Story. Which, I mean, I feel like most people in the United States have. The movie came out in 1995. The movie's older than me. It's a classic. A modern classic. I do believe it was the first full-length feature film that was completely 3D animation. I think. Could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure it was. By a company named Pixar. Later to be bought by the Walt Disney Company in 2006. Random fact of the day. Oh, this car's looking nice. Shoot, I might just keep this thing. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. Do a lot of talking. A lot of talking. Filling that air waves. What else? What other random facts do you guys want to know? I guess I could pull up the stats to this race. I know Kahne got eliminated when I looked at it earlier. I don't know what he started in. Kasey Kahne was always one of those drivers that, I don't know, I don't feel like his equipment ever held him back, but there's just something missing from his career. Like, he was always really good, but it just seemed like there was always something missing. Like, when he was at Evernham, he was winning a decent amount of races, and then Evernham kind of merged with Petty, and Kahne still did pretty decent there. He won a couple races in the Budweiser Ford. Then he had that oddball year, that in-between year, 2011, when he raced for Red Bull in the 4-car. And he actually won at Phoenix in the 4-car, the second to last race of the year. So, he found a little bit of success with them. And then when he came to Hendrick Motorsports in 2012, I thought, like, yeah, his career is going to take off and he's going to, win a bunch of races every year. It never really happened. He won, off the top of my head, I know for a fact he won Loudon, I think. Well, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure he won Loudon in 2012. One of them, anyway. I don't know if he won any other races that year. He won, I do know for a fact that he won Pocono, one of the Pocono races in 2013. That's like one of my most vivid memories, because there was a late race restart. Jeff Gordon had the lead, and he blew Kahne's doors off on the first restart, and then there was another caution, so then there was a second restart, and Kahne just absolutely left Gordon in the dust and won that race. And I was like, dumbfounded. Oh, he won Bristol 2013. I think the Spring Bristol race. I think he won Spring Bristol 2013. He won, I think he won the Brickyard in 2017. That might have been his last win. I think the Brickyard 2017 might have been Kahne's last win. But yeah, he was always one of those drivers that I thought he would do a lot better than he did in the Cup Series, especially with like Hendrick equipment once he got there eventually, and it just kind of never really panned out. It was weird. But yeah, he was a good driver. He was a solid driver. To my memory, he didn't really tear up a lot of cars. Not more than the normal amount that happened during a season. But yeah, we're gonna switch over to the rear quarter panels now. Simple green decal that runs up the side of it, and then the Farmers logo in between the two greens. Then we're gonna put the great clips right underneath the spike on the side, above the side skirt. You know what? We'll put the Goodyears on too while we're thinking about it. It's been an hour. It's 11 o'clock Eastern right now, and I think we're making a pretty good. We'll throw this in there too while we're sitting here. I think we're making pretty good progress. We should have this car wrapped up probably in another half hour or so. Because the only thing we have left to do are these nose decals, TV panel on the back of the car, and then the roof. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the roof simply because you just put it down and forget about it until it dries, just like the hood decals. So yeah, tomorrow is Friday. I am going to be printing Cody's boxes, or at least hopefully printing Cody's boxes for the truck as well as the car tomorrow. So hopefully that goes well. I'd like to get those finalized and put together. Because again, if you guys weren't here earlier, I may be going to Michigan to watch Cody race next weekend. Can't believe it's next weekend already. Kind of crazy. But that's just how time goes. It flies lately. So yeah, he was supposed to go to a convention, and some shenanigans went down, and they kind of kicked him from the convention in a somewhat illegitimate way. Nothing of his, like, he did nothing wrong. And so that kind of freed up his schedule. So in his stream yesterday, he was talking about trying to put something together for Michigan, which personally I think would be great, because then I could go up there an extra day, but it might mess up my logistics for the weekend. So we'll have to see. Yet to be seen. It is about maybe a 2.5 hour drive from my house. So it's not exactly the closest thing, but it's also not that far away where I can't do it. So we'll see how it goes. He officially hasn't announced that he's running, so we'll see if they're able to put something together this week. Cutting it kind of close on timing. I don't know what the whole process is from a NASCAR standpoint, like what you have to get your entry information and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he has his license for NASCAR, he's registered, he's got a team that he works with that they've done part-time schedule. They already have all that figured out. So it's just a matter of getting a truck together and probably going through the normal channels to get him registered for that race. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Maybe I'll post some pictures from the track or something. If I do go up there, I'll take some pictures of him holding the cars, even though they're not for his personal collection. They're for the people that ordered his comic book tier, large, big money tier. So yeah, if I do end up going up there, I'll make sure you guys. I'll post some things on the channel and on Twitter, X, because I basically just use that to help run the channel. Great Clips. Never been to a Great Clips. Never gotten my hair cut there. We have if somebody in my family isn't cutting it, then we have somebody in my direct family isn't cutting my hair. We have a cousin. I have a cousin that she owns her own hair salon, so I have gone to her multiple times in the past. Always great to give a shout out to my cousin who cuts hair. She does great. A couple other family members go to her. And then I had a friend in college that she was a professional barber. So it's an interesting thing. It's a unique thing, but I don't think I've ever had my hair cut by what you would consider a professional. One thing that's kind of interesting is this Goodyear is a little bit big for this fender. On the rail car, the Goodyear did not touch this green or this green, and on the diecast it does touch both of them. Now, whoever made this set, I mean, it's a really good set. The decals are fantastic. They might not have paid that close attention. They got everything else really, really close. But again, even Lionel, they don't get it right most of the time. Well, they don't get it right some of the time. So, you know, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. You're gonna get everything right 0% of the time. It's just how it is. And even the cars that I make, that I do the decals for, I would say I probably get them 95 to 98% right, and there's still that 5 to 2-ish% that something might be a little bit off, whether it's the size of a decal or the color of a decal. Of course, colorblind, so as we've discussed many times on the channel. So you never know. I always have somebody check the colors before I finally submit them. And a lot of times they're just local logos that are like Mountain Dew. Like this green is probably close to the Mountain Dew green. Maybe. I don't know. Probably. Looks pretty close. But stuff like that. So, yeah. Nothing's ever 100%. And some of the, like, even the ones that come from the factory from Lionel, I mean, no car is ever perfect. You try to get them perfect, but, I mean, let's be realistic. Nothing is. But they do look dang good. That's for sure. So, yeah. What else to discuss on this fine Thursday evening? I guess, yeah, oh, yeah, so 2017 was really the last year for the highly detailed elites. In 2018, when they moved to the new body style, so I think 2018 was the first year that Ford went to the Mustang. I think they were racing the Fusion from, oh shoot, they were racing the Fusion from like 2006 until, I'm trying to think, I'm going through my mind. They raced the Taurus, the Ford Taurus in 05. 6 was the Fusion, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 was a different body style, but still the Fusion. 14 was the Fusion. 15, yep, 16. So I think I guess Ford raced the Fusion from 2006 all the way up until 2018 when they switched to the Mustang. And that coincided with Chevrolet switching to the Camaro. And Toyota still ran the Camry. They had run the Camry since 2007. That was Toyota's first year in NASCAR, was 07. And they ran the Camry from then on. And they still run the Camry today, actually. It's gone through multiple different body iterations and style changes. But still the same platform. But 2018, Lionel took a lot of detail out of the cars. They took away all the tethers. They took some of the antennas out. It just seemed like the quality dipped. The price did not. The price kind of stayed the same, I think. That's a good question. I don't know. I would assume the price stayed the same. I wasn't collecting then. Because Gordon had retired again for like the umpteenth time that I've said it. But yeah, so when they switched over to those body styles, they took a lot of detail out of all of the cars. It wasn't just like they are done with the Chevy cars. They took out the detail from all of them, which is a shame. And again, the price went up, and blah blah blah. We know where we are today. The price has gone up, quality's gone down. It's just how it is. It's unfortunate. I am glad that I don't really buy too many cars anymore. The only cars that I purchase new are if Ross Chastain or William Byron win a race. And they haven't been winning much lately. Now, this past weekend, both Ross and Byron both won a race. So I will be pre-ordering 2 cars, which, whatever, they've gone up a ton in price, but the amount of cars I'm buying have decreased significantly, so it's a little bit more justified, I guess, in my mind Too many cars. I have too many cars. I know, you can say, you can never have too many cars. But I think I do... There aren't too many more that I really need for my collection going backwards. So I don't really have to work backwards and get too many more cars. Maybe one of these days I'll post my list somewhere. Of course, I haven't fully gone through my list, and one of my main things that I was supposed to do when I moved into this house was go through my list of cars and kind of organize everything and document everything, and it didn't really go according to plan. I still have a lot of that to do and a lot of catching up to get to. Great clips. Looks pretty good. It's always hard to line these ones up where you don't really have much of a reference. I mean, you have you want to keep it straight on the back of the deck lid, but there's nothing, like, it's just a big flat area. There's really no contour or anything else to kind of help it align. But I think it looks pretty good. Then you want to keep it away from these two holes over here is where the little shark fin comes down. That's what they call it. Comes down the back window, goes down the deck lid, and then stops at the spoiler. Alright, let's see. 1112. So now that we've given the nose a little bit of time to dry, I feel comfortable putting these decals over top of these ones. I typically don't like to add a decal on top of another one unless it's had a decent amount of time to dry. This one was a little bit of a different story because it's not a lot. Like, the majority of the decal is over here, so this will hold it in place. And same thing with this. Like, the majority of this decal is all back here, so it'll be held in place pretty well. But for something like this, I mean, there's not a lot of decal here, and then when you put the headlight over top of it, you never know what's going to happen. So I just like to be careful and give it a little bit of time to dry. But yeah, this bottom grill on these SS's are a nightmare. I don't know, can the camera pick it up? Yes, okay. So you see this contour right in here where it kind of goes in. Same thing up here. So it goes in a little bit here. Those are a nightmare to put the whole grill decal on. So this entire decal has the grill in it and everything. What I will likely end up doing, it's got a silver, I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see that. It's got this silver or chrome outline that goes around it. So what I like to do is I like to cut away the inside and just outline it with the chrome and then paint it. But this one has a pretty detailed grill on it, so maybe I'll just cut this top black part away and then reapply this main grill area with all the inlet holes. So maybe I'll do that. Again, that's the thing for off stream, because it's a lot more complicated than just, you know, applying the decal right to the surface of the car. You gotta cut it and, I don't know, just do a lot of messing around with it. It's not something I'm terribly interested in doing. But yeah, these ones are pretty simple. They follow the contour that are molded into the die cast, so not very complicated here. It's just a matter of getting it to seat properly and not wrinkle. Let's see. And look pretty straight. So yeah, relatively simple process here. Like I said, since it has the contour already built into the car, it's not a difficult task. One thing that's interesting about the molding on some of these cars is they're not they're not perfect. I know we talked about things being perfect and not perfect, but like some of the noses would be skewed on some of them, so I don't know if that was a mold problem that they had or what it was. Ooh, another interesting thing I just noticed, which I'll have to touch up later, is these brake duct openings. The decals do not fill them in. So as you can see here in a second, we have the black background and then the chrome kind of openings, but this white voided space up here, I'm gonna have to fill that in because on the real car it's filled in black. Boo, whoever made these decals. See, that's one of the details that I would notice. I mean, I'm sure if you've done this as long as I have and you kind of know what you're looking for and all that, you would pick up on that, but that's one of those things that kind of bugs me. Like, how does that get overlooked? Also, though, sort of on me, I just assumed that it would be filled in, so I didn't paint it, because I did paint this. I should have known better, and I should have looked at the decals and painted behind the decal, but that's easy touch up. That'll take 2 seconds. Not that difficult. Same thing with the passenger side. Again, not that big of a deal. I'll touch it up later. But yeah, relatively simple thing. Just a very fine paintbrush. Just fill that void in. So with that, we still got 12 minutes to 11:30. Pop these headlight decals on. Move over to the TV panel. See, like I was talking earlier, that wrinkle right there will get covered up here in 2 seconds. We just look for that contour line in the molded into the body. That headlight goes way up around. Actually, I think that goes a little bit further than what the real car is. But that's okay. It looks pretty good. Maybe not, actually. Apply a little bit of pressure to get it to seat in, and then bam, look at that. I feel like Bob Ross. You have a happy little headlight. Just a happy little headlight contoured in there. So yeah, we applied, like I said, we applied setting solution to soften the decal up a little bit. And also, once you apply the clear coat over top of it, any wrinkle that kind of looks like it's in there will get, it'll get kind of smoothed out and you won't even be able to tell. But the car's winking at you right now. It's only got one headlight. It's kind of like emo. It's got this scar coming across the other headlight. We'll put that on real quick. And it's got that piece back there. Again, same thing. Find the body line, find the contour. Relatively simple process. And then just push it down a little bit to run around. So the top of the, yeah, you can see that line right there, the top of that body line, you want the headlight to be underneath it. Same thing with this side. You can tell as the light hits it right there, that top of that body line, you just want the headlight ever so slightly underneath it. And we'll do that for both sides. Bob Ross is pretty famous. I could be the Bob Ross of decaling NASCARs. I think I got to get a little bit of better setup. I don't think this setup's the worst. Maybe, do you guys think I should go like a little further away? You think this camera angle is too close? Should I expand the camera angle so you can see more? Because I feel like sometimes if I pull it too close to the camera, it gets in and out of focus. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Next stream, do a larger camera larger field of view. Don't everybody comment at once. Alright, let's, yeah, we'll switch over to the back. Put those in the water. I like it close. You like it close? Okay. Yeah, I think for the viewer it gives a better, you're able to see what's going on a little bit better. It's easier to see the, you know, you don't get to, it's really focused. We're really focused on what we're doing, which I personally like, because sometimes when you have it far away, there's other things going on around the screen or whatever. Might be a little bit distracting. Plus, I wonder how this, I don't know, are any of you guys watching it on TV? How does it look on TV? Because like a phone, you can zoom in if you want. I don't think you can do that on TV. But the Hendrick Motorsports logo right underneath the headlight. And again, this one, the logo is a little bit big compared to what I'm looking at on the real car. But you wouldn't be able to tell if you're not paying that close attention. And again, this one goes right underneath this body line. So you got that body line that comes in between the brake duct opening and the headlight. And that Hendrick Motorsports decal goes right underneath it. Now on the other side, the 5 decal intersects that body line. And put that on there. And again, with the decal setting solution, it just softens that puppy right up and allows you to just nicely contour it over that body line and suck the decal right down onto the body of the car. So that's perfect. I mean, you can see from the side there's no space, no air between the decal and the body. So yeah, interestingly enough, I mean, I've been doing this for how many years? 13 years-ish, give or take, 14 years. And it's only been relatively recent that I have discovered decal setting solution or a softening solution. This is specifically called Solvaset. And it's been only within the past probably 2 or 3 years that I've discovered this stuff. And it's been a life changer. I used to fight so many decals trying to get them around the bodies of some of the cars and the contours and all that stuff. It was just an absolute nightmare. And I can't believe it took me that long to figure it out. But it did. And it's made my life a heck of a lot easier since doing so. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how I ever did it without it. Well, with a heat gun and a lot of frustration, I can tell you. That's how. So one of the things that's difficult about the TV panel, we already kind of discussed it. How did I figure it out? How did I figure it out? I want to say, I think it was on a forum. I want to say it was on a modeling forum, not a diecast forum, but people that make model cars. It was on a forum like that, and they were talking about applying, or maybe it was a video on YouTube or something. But yeah, it was something like that where I figured it out. It wasn't me personally. It was tips and tricks from other builders, other hobbyists, other creators, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah, so one of the things that was frustrating, or that is frustrating about these cars, is this ledge, this contour that we're gonna have to fight a little bit. And when Jeff Gordon used to race, oh man, they didn't make all of his cars, and the Exalta car specifically had like a full decal on the back, and getting the decals to sit properly on here was incredibly frustrating. So if I had the decal setting solution back then, it might have been better. Maybe one day I'll go back and revisit. But yeah, it's one of those things where there's really no good way about going about it. But we'll put this here Mountain Dew decal on. Maybe. Getting it to separate was a little difficult. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know it's a late night, late evening. I was trying something different with the later start time, seeing if the algorithm would do anything different. It really didn't. So this is kind of interesting. I think this is way too far down. So it's gonna cut off a lot of the dew. I'm gonna try and work it back up a little bit. So the Chevy emblem has to go in the middle here. And that's about where we are. It can't go any higher than that because it goes in pretty much in the middle of this deck lid piece. But everything underneath, like getting it to contour around here, we'll have to apply some setting solution. It looks good. I mean, realistically, it's very nice how, let's see, yeah, there you go, how it contoured in there with the solution. Maybe I'll go back and revisit some of those Gordon cars. But all this is gonna get cut off. You'll see in a second when I put this SS logo back on the back of the car. You'll see it here shortly how it's gonna just chop all that off and render it gone. So first things first, we'll just make sure we get this all hammered down. Again, similar to the hood, similar to the side window, I'm gonna have to make sure that now from here on out I'm careful with the rear deck lid that I don't interact with it and accidentally pop it open and pull the decal off of the back of the car. That would be catastrophic. I have done that before. It's not the best. It pulls it and then it makes it, I don't even know how to explain it. It like thins the decal out and not in a good way. And it's just frustrating because it basically ruins it. Like it pulls it apart and it pulls the ink apart. I guess that's the best way to describe it, is it pulls the ink apart, and then once that happens, there's no undoing it. And so that's just a tragic story at that point. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised how well it contoured in. That looks really, really good. I don't want to mess with it too much, because once you get it into a nice place, sometimes you can mess with them too much and it'll rip them up and make them ugly. Similar to the front, how this headlight interacts with the hood decal, this rear tail light probably will interact with, ever so slightly. A decent amount. It'll interact with that decal a little bit, but that's fine. It's how it was designed. It's not my decision. It'll look good anyway. Again, I like this car. I'm very glad that I took on this project out of my own want. It's a very nice project to do. It's relatively stress-free. It's pretty easy. This little SS logo goes in that recess. Oh, can we see that? Yeah. That SS logo goes in the recess too. This little cutout, it'll sit right about there, right on that ledge. So we'll get to that here in a second. But for now, we'll put this on. But yeah, I did recently finish an AJ Allmendinger car. It was from his 2019 Charlotte Roval win, and I was gonna do it on stream, but it was a decal set that looked kind of complicated, and so I didn't want to just be messing with it on stream and not really know what was happening and going on. So I just decided to do it off stream, and I don't know. I don't know how interesting it would have been to do it on stream, but yeah. So that's pretty much the spot. Maybe over this way a little bit. Let's see. So this main SS logo has a cutout in the body of the car. And let's see. Oh, it's pretty much perfect. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Not really. But it's molded into the body of the car, and the decal fit into that mold like exactly perfect. So very, very happy with that. Also, the one kind of annoying thing about this particular part of the car is this back. You never know if this back part is going to be straight. For this one, it looks pretty good. You can see these exhaust tips look pretty good. And then also for this particular build, with the Mountain Dew logo being skewed and going upwards, it plays mind tricks with you. But this car looks great. I mean, I'm gonna obviously say that I'm the one that's building it, but that Lionel Forum member that will have his chance to get this car, I think he's gonna like it. The hardest part of putting it back together is getting the tethers to reattach to here, because what they do is they rivet them down. I don't know. Typically, I just glue them in. I don't know if there's a better way. If there is, I haven't found it yet. I really don't do that many elites anymore. But yeah, I like how this back piece kind of goes a little bit around the sides. I do like that. We're getting close to the end here. 11:30. A little bit longer than I had hoped, but for this car and how good it looks, I can't complain. I am going to be done before midnight. That is a guarantee. But speaking of guarantees, this car guarantee looks great. Great. Alright, enough of that. Enough of that out of me. Let's get this thing finished so we can go to bed. Right rear tail light going on. Take a little bit of setting solution. So if you guys were here for the last stream, there was the taillight decal for Cody's truck that went around the body, very similar to what's about to happen now. It cracked, and I have never had that happen before. Got some fuzz in my... I've never had a decal crack like that before, so I'm very nervous now about these ones. Hopefully that doesn't happen. It doesn't look like it based off of this first one. Again, with the setting solution applied, I'm not that worried about it, but Cody's car had that on it too, so I don't really know. Cody's truck, it was the Martinsville debut truck. So same thing with this one. Yeah, it looks okay. And the taillights, they have the slightest amount of that white go around to the outside of the car. So on both sides they have the slightest little bit amount of white or gray, whatever color that is. And then on this side, I will use my X-Acto knife to cut that out of the fuel inlet and when I put the American ethanol on there, it'll change, it'll cover that up a little bit, or most of it will be covered up. So yeah, I'm not entirely worried. One thing I used to have problems with was I would do these taillights and then I would cut them out from the trunk, from the deck lid, and that little piece that would stay on the deck lid I would lose all the time. So I'd have to color it in with like red Sharpie or stuff, or pull a different decal off of another car, and it was so frustrating. So now I've learned to decal the whole car, get the whole thing done, and then once the whole thing's done, then cut them out, and be very, very careful about how I move the car and what I do with the clear coat when I put it on and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it was necessarily me being not careful, it was just, I don't know, just the way that it was, kind of like an aspen tree. How can you tell that it's an aspen tree? Because of the way it is. It's a deep cut from YouTube. If you guys know, you're a real OG. But yeah, so the taillights look pretty good. I love this car. This car, it looks great. The whole thing does. Little sponsor decal here on the back bumper. They still do this, actually. They still have this little spot here for sponsors, which, I don't know, it's kind of unique. All of these, like the number, the team car, this sponsor, and then the number will go over here also on the back. That all used to be in the headlights and taillights, and it wasn't until 2013 when they went to this body style officially that they changed that. I don't really know why. I don't really think it mattered a whole lot, but it's one of those decisions that no harm, no foul. Having the numbers and sponsors and team stuff not in the headlights and taillights didn't really bother me that much. What bothered me more was NASCAR's decision to get rid of the rookie stripes. I, for the life of me, don't know why they did that. That was a decision that one doesn't really help or hurt, I suppose, but it's one of those things that wasn't hurting anybody, so why take it out? I don't know, it was just one of those decisions. Alright, so I'm thinking about doing a short stream. What do you guys think about that? It would all be vertical, so I don't really know. Like, I'd have to zoom out and have the decals like sitting up there, so instead of landscape it'd be portrait mode. I don't know if I'm going to like to do that. We'll see. I might have to think about it a little bit more. I know YouTube likes the short streams, so they like to push those, they like to promote those a little bit more. So it's something I've been kind of mulling over, kind of considering a little bit, just to get a little bit more exposure to the channel, see if you could get outside of the current reach. Not sure. Something I got to think about. And at the moment, I don't really have any cars to decal. Well, that's not true. I have a lot of cars to decal. They're just all 164s. So we'll see. Something I'm considering. But anyway, so tail TV panel looks great. Sides look great. Isn't this fun? I don't know. It's fun for me. You get to see the evolution, how the car goes from basically nothing, all blank, all white, to popping with color. You got some greens, you got some reds, you got, well, light green, dark green, I think. A little bit of yellow. Is there any blue? Yeah, a little bit of blue or purple or something. I think that's blue. So you get a lot of cool progress with it. And eventually, if I wanted, I could turn these into videos too. Maybe I will. Who knows? It's kind of hard though, cutting and editing over an hour's worth of information down to something consumable. especially when the format is so jumpy. I'm just going all over the place. But some contingency decals here on the front of the car. A little bit of contouring around the headlight. Not a ton. Not a ton. That's nothing. Add a little bit of pressure. A little bit of pressure to get that to get the water out and to get it to just seat very, very nicely. Interacts with the headlight ever so slightly. That's one thing that's a little bit different than the real car. The real car did not have the contingencies interact with the headlight. This did, and it's not uncommon that you would have real cars where the contingencies would intersect the headlight, but for this particular car it did not in real life. But again, it's not really that big of a deal. If you're not paying attention or you're not looking for that sort of thing, you won't notice it, or it won't jump out at you, and it absolutely won't like be a reason why you don't want to have this car in your collection. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for being here. It's been a different night. Not a ton of quantity, but a lot of quality. The real OGs have been sticking around, so I've appreciated it, and it's been fun. I hope you guys have had fun too as we begin to wind down to wrap it up a little bit. So we use this entire sheet, this whole mat. I guess we can move it into the middle. Whoop. The whole mat had decals on it. Now this decal right here, this little black decal, is supposed to go in this cowl. This is what that's called, where the air goes into the top of the engine that way. On the Elite cars, they were actually cut out, so no need to put this decal on it. So probably could have got rid of that from the start. If you guys are watching, like really paying attention, like, ooh, where's that decal gonna go? It's not. So yeah. But yeah, side skirts, like I said, I was gonna save these for last. It's really gonna make a difference. Like painted side skirts on these cars, beautiful thing. So currently it's just white. Just hold on, bear with me here, because you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. That was one thing Dale Jr. said when he came to Hendrick Motorsports in 2008. He's like, I want painted side skirts for my cars. Because at DEI, he always used to run just black, and it blended too much in with the track. So I really like the painted side skirts too. That's one of the things I agree with Junior on. I agree with him on a lot of things, but these kind of tie the whole car together. Beautiful. And it's got the rivets integrated in. Oh yeah, the camera can pick that up. Whoop. Yep. So you got the rivets. So that's how the side skirts are held onto the car, is just riveted on. It's just little bits of metal. That's all the side skirts are. And in 2014, I love 2014 because that was one of my favorite years. But they used to pull this corner out on pit stops to give the cars extra downforce. Like anything that they could get, that they could search for downforce, they were doing. And that was one of the things they did. Oh, so see, it's not exactly straight. So we're gonna apply some water, peel that up a little bit, put it back down, and there we go. But that was one of the fun things about the 2014 season, is they would flare the heck out of them to get any bit of extra downforce that they could. And it worked. Of course, it also cut down tires. Cut down Gordon's tire at Texas. Second to last? Third to last? I don't know, fourth to last. That was a whole big thing because Gordon was leading. There was a unnecessary caution, in my opinion. But yeah, so it was kind of neat that they would just flare the heck out of those things just to And it was just the crew members. They would just bare hand pull the side skirts out to get it to flare and get some extra downforce on it. Just brute force. Good old-fashioned brute force. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty tired. So I'm sad the stream's coming to an end, but I'm also kind of glad at the same time because I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm running out of topics. The chat's been good, but it hasn't been rolling tonight. Haven't been keeping me honest, keeping me on my toes. Little bit of a wrinkle there. We'll just have to pull this back ever so slightly. And I'll cut out these side skirts once the decal's fully dry. Let's see how that ends up. Really nice. Really nice. That's how it ends up. So the side skirts are down and on. Last thing to do, again, we got to put these roof flaps in so we can apply the final decal on this car, and that will conclude this evening's stream. 11:47, I got like 10 minutes. It's not going to take me 10 minutes. But I was right. It would take me about 2 hours to get this car done. That was kind of in my head, the time frame that I thought I would have before setting up the stream. So I'm like, I could start it at 10 and be done by midnight. So here we go. Final decal, the roof number, roof sponsor. Whoa, hit the camera a little bit. That's cool. 2013 was the first year that they put a decal on the roof. As far as sponsorship goes, they had never done that prior to 2013, and when they brought this new Gen 6 car, that was a first that they did that year. So kind of interesting. This is a 2017, so doesn't, it's a little, we're past the newness, I guess, of it, but yeah, this is not a Kyle Larson 5 if you're currently watching NASCAR and like, hey, Kyle Larson car. Nope, this is Kasey Kahne, 2017 Hendrick Motorsports. Same team, Hendrick Motorsports, of course. But yeah, this was Kasey Kahne. Yeah, see, that's kind of like how the real car looks. That graphic goes over the end of the windshield a little bit. So that'll do it, folks. We have completed the Kasey Kahne number 5 Mountain Dew Chevrolet SS for Hendrick Motorsports from 2017. Decals are pretty much all done. I have a few more to do off stream. Looks really, really good. I hope you guys had a fun time with the stream. I'm glad that you guys were able to be here to interact and chat and talk and all that kind of stuff. So, never produced in 124 scale. They did make it in 164, but this is the first time. Well, I've seen these cars online. Other people have made them, but not as good as me. Humble brag. Got a few more decals to put on it later. 1, 2, these go on the windshields, and then the American ethanol. So with that, I thank you guys for being here. It's been a fun evening, a long evening. I'm ready to go to bed. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Thank you for joining. This has been Diecast Driven, and we will catch you later. Bye, everyone.